How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SNDL Sundial growers. Many of you have been saying, hey, we want to get an update video. So, hey, I'm putting it together for you guys. So I won't take up any more of your time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is the technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. I feel this is very key, especially since we do have earnings that is coming up. You want to make sure that you're getting in at a good price and you're not overpaying. And then secondly, we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We want to know, are institutions loading up? That is number one. And then number two, what is the short volume ratio looking like? How much shorts are actually vested in this play in regards to the short volume ratio? This will have an impact on the stock price. And then afterwards, we take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know, were institutions buying up shares today? We can see this by taking a look at the large scale orders. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SNDL Sundial growers. Let's see how it performed on the day. So we ended up closing at 82 cents, being up 0.23%. On the low, it tested 81 cents, and then on the high, testing 84 cents. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, we can see we traded at 57.141 million shares, and as far as for the average volume over 10 trading days, it's 103.988 million shares. So taking this into consideration, it was below average, but hey, SNDL did remain being consistent. The chart we're using is the 1-year daily chart. As you take a look at the RSI down below, it's right around 45.25, so it is in the oversold territory. When we take a look at the indicators on the chart, you can see very clearly here we're below the 100-day, we're also below the 21-day EMA, and we're also below the 200-day. But do keep in mind we are still sitting on an area of support for SNDL. If we go into next week and it ends up pulling back even further, then of course we have to look out for those areas in that 70-cent range, and this is an area where I love to accumulate and trade off of the swings. Many of you will ask me and be like, hey Dre, do I buy in right now? It's at 88 cents. I think it's going to go to 90. I'm like, you know what? When it comes to plays like this, they're very volatile, right? So at the end of the day, it's always important to focus on your entry. So if you're looking into getting to this play, the 70-cent range is definitely a great area to take a look at, especially when it makes those spikes. What we really wanted to see from SNDL was being able to get past 90 cents. We already know it's an area of resistance for this stock, and I do know if it gets past 90, then the next level that we can look forward to is be around this 94-cent area, and then of course that $1 area, which is going to be that psychological area for SNDL. But like I said previously, it is staying consistent. It's still trading in that tight range, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing when it gets close to that $1 level, because like I said, I've been accumulating, and that's where I'm going to be taking some profits. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information for SNDL. So as we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So you can see here for July the 30th, which is today, we have Patriot Financial Group Insurance Agency that purchased 1,000 shares. And also if we go further back on July the 28th, we have Morgan Roselle Wealth Management purchased 15,382 shares. And of course, we've been seeing also other institutions that have been purchasing shares in SNDL as well. So that's always something that is good to see. Now, when we take a look at the short interest information, it's at 39.42%. So of course, continues to have short squeeze potential. We take a look at the short shares availability, it's at 10 million. And as far as for the short ball free rate, it's at 1.33%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio using the FINRA numbers, we could see for the 28th, it was at 41.87. And now for the 29th, it is at 53.31. So this is definitely significant here. A lot of shorts that are vested inside of this play, but do keep in mind, if we have a lot of buying volume that ends up coming through SNDL, we could look forward to seeing a stronger move to the upside. And it's part of the reasons why I tell you guys, if you want to play off of those fluctuations, make sure you're getting a solid entry, and the entry that we've been seeing is in that 70-cent range. Now let's take a look at the large scale orders for SNDL. So we can see here on the inflow, we had 12,988. And on the outflow, we had 13,927. We have 0 on the large for both. As far as for the medium, we had 8,266, and on the small, we had 4,723. On the outflow side, on the medium, we had 8,461. On the small, we had 5,466. Large scale orders in the last 5 days, as you guys could see, it is zeros down the board. Institutions are not going in with large scale orders whatsoever. And this is of no surprise, because even when we took a look at Fintel, we were seeing this as well. Institutions were not buying up large amounts of shares. So as far as what's going on the medium and the small side, a lot of this could be coming from retail. And if institutions are getting involved, they're making sure that they're not going in with big positions either. So now let's jump into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for SNDL Sundial growers, I'm definitely not surprised with it pulling back a little bit. And part of the reasons being is we saw the cannabis sector really did take off. So now it's kind of lose a little bit of momentum, and now SNDL is pulling back. Many of you will ask me, hey, when is the best time to actually buy SNDL? And many times it's when the stock is running up, might be in the 88-cent range, 87-cent range, and so forth. I always say wait for a pullback. That opportunity will come back. And that's part of the reasons why I love loading up on shares when it's in that 70-cent range. So going into next week, if you see it in this particular area, have a strategy. See, hey, what is my entry going to be and what is my exit going to be? That's the strategy that I have for myself, and it's worked out very well. And due to the fact they do have some earnings that's going to be coming up, I'm looking forward to seeing some anticipation. I'm looking forward to seeing a run up. We do have some resistance at that 90-cent range, so that is something also to be aware of. But of course, with a lot of buying volume, I definitely do believe it should be able to have some momentum above that particular area. And of course, that's going to be an area where I take some profits as well, and also when it hits that $1 level, and then seeing how far it could actually go from there. As far as when we were taking a look at the short interest information, hey, we see it continues to have short squeeze potential, with the short volume ratio being more than twice the amount that we normally look for, which is around 21%. And of course, as far as the cannabis sector is as a whole, if we get any catalyst, we get any news, or maybe a cannabis company comes out with some good earnings, SNDL can benefit from this, because of course, you know the term we say on this channel, rising tides float all boats. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.